Right, you'll be able to see that we've swapped cameras because this one has a much larger memory card in it. Unfortunately, I can't swap the two memory cards because they're completely different formats, so that's gone well. So you will have seen us put this first light up, hopefully, and now we're onto the second light in here. I will talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, I look different. I went to have a haircut for the first time here and it clearly didn't go very well. So I have an emergency haircut on Monday, which hopefully means that they can make it a bit better, but I'm not sure if they can or not. But anyway, we need to set up this other light. Hopefully that will just track my face in here. So you'll see like when I'm down and when I'm up and etc. So one of the things that was delaying this was the concern about the humidity and the humidity cycle, so the air cycle. But I basically figured out that the air cycle doesn't really matter in here because it's an acclimation room, and the other room that's going to be a grow room will be at about 60% humidity anyway, which is a normal room humidity. So in here and in the other room, all we're going to do is we're going to get some dehumidifiers for the outside of the tents, so that if any humidity leaks, that'll just take up that humidity and it won't damage any rooms. So that's the current plan, and that is why I'm pushing ahead with building these. We have cancelled the other light. There was basically a fourth light that was on order that should be going in the other room, and we cancelled that because I can't figure out the math on the size, because the tent in there is going to be 240 by 240, and the lights that we're currently doing and the other light that we have and the other one that was on order, they are 150 by 150, and I couldn't do that math. So two 150s do not go into 240, and I didn't really want to deal with it. And it means you can save a little bit of money at the minute, which is very much needed, because at the moment we're not making any money. We're just setting everything up still. We actually had a bunch of chemicals and things come, so everything is still moving forward. I chased up the remaining pieces of equipment that we need, which are actually the major pieces of equipment, the autoclave and the laminar flow hood. The laminar flow hood should be here within like a week, and the autoclave, I don't really know. Could be the end of the month, could be the start of next month. I don't know. They just keep giving me this massive range of dates. So I've asked them to tell me how long it normally takes for them to, you know, confirm the actual delivery date, because they should be able to do that at some point. Whether it's a day before, a week before, I don't know. So I've just asked them to kind of clarify that. So yeah, like I say, everything's moving forward. Still slower than I'd like it to have been moving forward, but it is what it is at this point. Everything that we need is on order. There's nothing missing. So as soon as everything comes, we can start, and that's it. The business starts, and we can start to sell things. The website has been ready now for weeks. The back end's fully set up. All the payments are all set up. So that will literally be a plug and play as soon as we're ready. Put the products up, and then oh damn, I just realised I did this wrong. It's been a couple of days since I did the last one. So I need to take the clamps off, slide them into the bracket, and then put the clamps back on. If I can. Okay, that one's not sliding in. It's because it's this way around. That's why. Sorry. Brain doesn't work when I'm doing multiple things. Notice how when you get it correct, they literally just slide in, no effort, nothing, just straight in. Okay. Hello. Well, that one wasn't easy to get off. Okay, alright, let's try again, shall we? So, snap you on, bam, bam, bam. Okay, it's already down, that's fine. It's so much harder to do once the thing's in place. Go on. Yeah, buddy. Okay, cool. Alright, and then we can do these up from underneath like before. We connect the light to the actual LEDs, so the controller to the LED strips underneath. That's what this is. And then we've got to put the winch on. You can see the pulleys. These are the wires that connect to the frame of this model. So, here. I think we did it this way on the other one. Cool. Let's make sure that is happy with the way it's sitting. Yeah, it seems to be. Connect that up to the wire. Then we've got to do the same on this side. It's really simple once once you've done it once. It's just the first time's a little bit dodgy. Okay. Because obviously you don't want to start winching the damn thing up and then it drops and then you potentially break your light, rip your tent. Many things can go wrong. Okay, there we go. Again, let's make sure that that's in line. Yes, it's perfectly fine like that. Okay, and now we just need to winch everything up. Hopefully the camera's getting all of this. Should be. Right, so we're just going to tighten them up. There we go. That one's pulled around. I feel like this one went up easier than the other one actually. Ugh. Problem is once I get to this point. Okay, number one, the winches need moving over so that we have a nice distribution of light. Seems about where I'd want it. Yeah, that one's winched up way further. That's interesting. And this one's much flatter than the other one. That is strange. Oh, and the camera just decided it wasn't going to look at it. Wow, look at that dodgy haircut in the light. Perfect. Okay. See if we can pull these up a bit. Yeah, 2 clicks. Probably get 2 clicks on this one as well. If I can see where I'm pulling. Where am I pulling here? Okay, really awkward because the camera's right here. We got 1 click on that one. Now the only thing left to do is to connect up, we just need to connect up the clamps for the controller on top and just solidify their position. You really don't need to do this. These studs are definitely not needed at all because they're just held in place by the metal bars, so completely useless. but I have them, so I will use them. Alright, so here is our plug, which goes to the outside wall, obviously French plug. So we probably want to not drop the plug like that and connect this up here. And then I need to have a look outside, see where the plugs are, the sockets are. There's not a close socket to that side at all. It would have to go out and across. So we can't turn that on, ultimately. But it's up and it's hopefully working. I mean, we've turned it on before to make sure that it works. So we don't want you coming down like that. I do have cable ties and things that didn't come with. Maybe that's what the metal things are for. To make a bridge and hold the wires? I don't know. But that clearly you don't want that dangling down because that's a nightmare. Just lay it across the top for now. Screw it. Right, now let's get the brain in, I think. So what I've got here is one of the brains of the system. We've actually got 4 of these because the original plan was to have 4 grow tents. I don't know why I had that plan, but obviously now we've got 2 grow tents, so we need 2 brains. We've got too many things. We've got 4 ventilation systems, and apparently this one doesn't even need a ventilation system now. It's crazy. Overspend. You come in with a plan when you live in another country, and obviously that plan changes as other things adapt. It's real good fun. So this is the controller that we're working with. It is one of the Mars Hydro controllers. And supposedly everything just connects through the Ethernet cables that they've got. Temperature, humidity sensor, yeah, so all the sensors and everything are all in here. So these are your sensors, whether that's temperature or humidity, or potentially both, because it says temp, humidity, light sensor, so maybe it's all 3. Temp, humidity and light sensor. Whether that's going to focus on it or not, I don't know. And then this is the actual control panel for it, which weighs nothing. It's just basically an LED screen and a computer board so that you can change everything and it can detect everything. We may run into another issue here, I don't know, it depends how long the Ethernet cables are. Obviously we don't want the brain to be inside the tent, we want it on the outside of the tent. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we'll kind of test it and see. I mean, there's nothing else that we can do. So these are the Ethernet cables that come with the lights, and these connect up into the bottom of the controller from what I understand. Oh goodness, it's got, even this has suspension brackets, that's crazy. Right, so you connect it on the inside and then push it outside through the, okay, I understand. It's not the most elegant way to do it, but you know. Method 1 seems like the easiest. I think there's just a thing that I connect to on the outside. Okay, so yeah, outside there's literally just 2 hooks that you can hook those winch systems onto, and then you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, so we can do 2 lights off 1, and then connect the 2 lights. That's interesting. So can I connect channel, which channel? Channel 1 or channel 2? I don't know. I'm assuming channel 2, and then channel 1 will be the main thing. So let's go channel, my eyes, I can't actually see up there. Channel 2, connect that into channel 2. Cool, alright, so that's in channel 2 of that one. And then we're gonna run it across the top. It all seems like such a big fire risk. Having wires and ropes and everything else like dangling off each other doesn't seem very safe, if you ask me. Right, into channel 2. Yeah. Right, here is the other long grey controller wire, or Ethernet, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping that this can go straight from the light into the controller. I don't see why it would hold any different information. There's also a ton more, I'm blind, there's a ton more Ethernet cables in here. So lots and lots of Ethernet cables everywhere, and you get them with all the devices as well, so that's fun. We'll probably need some of those for the fans actually, because I'm not sure that the fans did come with some, but they might have done. I honestly couldn't tell you. It's been a while since I looked in the boxes. So there's fans that we need to clip on. I did plan on one in each corner, and I think that's probably what we're gonna do. Just make sure there's airflow in here. And the idea is that I think probably in the top vent, or maybe the very top vent, I don't know. Probably the side vent or one of the bottom vents actually, because humidity leaves through the top. We're going to shove a HEPA filter in and seal the HEPA filter, and that's going to be the air exchange. It will let out some humidity, and that's where the dehumidifier in the outside room should stop any damage to the room. Should, I hope. Oh, there's even an SD card in here. So for professional growers like us, we get an SD card and it should keep all the memory. I'd assume there's some memory built in, but I would expect that expansion is quite useful. I have no idea what the hell that's for, but okay. Right, I'm gonna go, that doesn't just hook. I don't know how to connect that. I'm gonna go try connect this. Well, it connects just about. It's literally, the cable is tight to the wall. Oh. I was going to say, and this is a blister pack, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get this open, but I am. Right, so obviously we've got multiple thermometers and hygrometers anyway, which will also be added to each tent, because you can't just run off one system. If the brain is incorrect, you can't put, if you're doing it professionally, you cannot put all your faith into one hygrometer. It's just not a good idea at all. And so I don't know how this is a light sensor as well. It's pretty crazy. But I suppose it needs to be, right, so that the lights dim to the correct level when you want them to. Oh, this is huge, okay. So everything's, all the wires seem tiny, but this one's huge. That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I suppose it's better this way. Right, so ultimately we're going to have loads of things coming through this hole. Right, so just looking at the display now, we've connected the sensor up. I'm not 100% sure that the humidity is accurate, so we will put in, like I said, extra hygrometers so that we can understand exactly what the humidity is, because having multiple tests is much better. But it's saying 17.9, 17.8 degrees, probably about right. Okay, it's not a touch screen, so we have to use buttons, old school buttons. Obviously we don't have any soil temperature testers or anything like that, but you can go like way over the top with this stuff. We don't need any of that. We literally just need temperature, humidity, and that's it. Well, and light, actually. So where's the light control? PPFD. It should be reading light. I'm not sure why it's not. How this figures out the light, I have no idea. And where I'm going to put it, I also have no idea. I mean, obviously you want to put it on a bench, I guess. Sit it on a bench where the plants are sat, and that's when you can actually measure the proper humidity that the plants are experiencing, because you don't want to have it up in the top corner where the plants aren't, because the humidity up there, although we've got circulating fans and everything, if there's a dead spot, then you could think, oh, it's 100% humidity, no problem. But everywhere else is actually like 70% humidity because the fans are blowing down here and all of a sudden there's a dead spot up there. So you definitely want to place these strategically and by where your plants actually are growing. As I say, you want to use multiple hygrometer thermometers, so you want to place them around the place, make sure everything's uniform. This tent is the most important because it's acclimation. You can lose 100% of your stock if you mess this up. So getting this perfect and having all of the controls in here is really important. The grow tent isn't as bad because they're already growing at house temperatures and in house conditions. So the humidity is much lower. They can deal with all the fluctuations and everything. It's not a problem. But in an acclimation chamber, everything has to be constant, like 100% constant all the time, all day, every day, day and night. And you want to be able to finely tune the acclimation. So the humidity in it and the lighting and the temperature in here all needs to be tuned together to gradually allow the plants to adapt to actual proper ex vitro conditions. All right, next things are the fans. So we'll hook up all the fans, you'll see that, and we've got to bring in the humidifier. And I think that's it, because we're not going to put an air system on this one. We're going to put an air system on the other one in there, because apparently carbon filters, so we've got 4 air systems with carbon filters, which clearly we don't need. We only need 1 now. So this tent doesn't need a carbon filter because the carbon filter wouldn't work anyway because the humidity is going to be so high, which clogs up the carbon filter and makes it useless. So only the grow room can have a carbon filter, because carbon filters can't actually work unless the humidity is at 70% or below, and this tent will not be at that for a long time. I suppose we could set up a carbon filter in here. We will. We'll set up a carbon filter in here, but it'll sit here and do nothing until the humidity hits 70%, which is towards the very end of the acclimation. I mean, our acclimation goals are actually below 70% because we want household conditions, and we want the temperature to be household temperatures as well. So everything needs to be household temperatures, but yeah, right now, carbon filter useless in here, but we will set one up because it's just good practice too. So here what I've got is one of the oscillating fans, as the mic tells me it's only got 10% left. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to, like I say, strategically place them around the tent to make sure that the airflow is moving and there's no stagnance. And the idea behind this is you don't want a buildup of humidity on the plants, so you don't want water to basically sit on the plants because then they start to mold, which kills them very quickly. And that's why I say this is the most important tent, because the plants can't take anything in here. It has to be absolutely dialed in, like perfectly dialed in. And if it's not, it's going to be a really big problem. And one thing about these is they actually connect to their power source through a USB, which means I can get a USB extension and plug 4 of them into one set of USB plugs, which will be useful, because the amount of wires that we've got going on right now is insane. This is the bracket that the fan sits on. So ultimately what happens is you unscrew the holder, which I already did, but there we go, and screw the holder back into place. And then all this is it's a clip, so it will go around the tent frame, and that's literally it. That's all you do, and you just shove it round the frame, and there you go. There's your fan, and then they oscillate, and they should have a not a USB. They should have an Ethernet connector somewhere. I hope. Yes, they do. So in the arm, I almost had a heart attack then. In the arm, there's an Ethernet connector which connects it to the brain. So the brain can be like, there's too much humidity, and it can turn on the fans and make them oscillate. And obviously from the brain, I can also control how many hours they come on for, when they come on, how fast they are when they come on. I can also control it all from the fan as well. But the whole idea is that this is all automated and, like I keep saying, completely dialed in. So now all we need to do is we need to make sure that there are two kind of lower down on the frame. So maybe this one and the one over there, lower down on the frame, pushing the air up. And then in the opposite corners, we'll have them further up on the frame and pushing down. So then you've got this vortex going on, and we want to kind of position them in one direction, I guess. So it constantly is like a turbine, I guess, or like a, how would you say that? Like a tornado going on, where the wind is being pushed in multiple directions. I don't think I'll ever have them oscillating, to be honest with you, because obviously, even if you have them oscillating, they're going to hit the tent, so that's kind of a bad design anyway. Although that's not the fan moving, that's the clip. So what happens is cool air will sit and the warm air will rise, and the warm air holds the humidity, so the humidity will rise as well. So we want to push that back down, but we don't want dead spots for temperature either. So obviously once the humidity condenses, which is what we're trying to avoid, that's when the water will come down, and if it condenses, it'll all be water all over here and it'll be awful. That's really not what you want. You want no visible water if you can possibly help it, but that's going to be almost impossible, I think. Alright, we're going to do this one, and then I won't show you the other two, and then we'll bring the humidifier in, because the humidifiers are huge. And again, we've got 4 humidifiers and we only need 2. What am I doing? That. This is a 200 centimeter tall tent, so it is way taller than me. I can definitely obviously stand up in here, no problem. But once you add the support bars for the lights, because they sit lower and then the lights sit on them, the support bars get pulled down anyway, and obviously the lights are, I don't know, maybe 5'5"-ish, I'd say. 5'6", 5'5", something like that in height. So they are quite tall. If you're a smaller human being, then you'll definitely be able to walk around in here. But for anyone 6 foot and above, you got no chance. I mean, I'm around 6'3", so I'm quite a bit taller than the height of the lights, unfortunately. It would make it a lot easier to not be taller than the lights, but it's not really anything that I can change. This I don't know what to do with the wires right now, to be honest, because these are, from what I can tell, basically made for putting wires through. There's a wire through for that light there that's currently lighting the place, that goes through and into the wall. So I'm assuming these are for wires, because you're not going to put anything like ventilation or anything in them. And then you've got the huge ones, which are obviously for ventilation and things. Right, we want to put you like there. So that's kind of the setup that I'm thinking. If we need to, we now have more lights and more lights. If we need to, we now have more fans than we need, so we can definitely set up one in each corner on both top and bottom if we need to. But as of right now, I think that will be okay, because that will push the air down, and then that will push it up, and then in this corner it'll push down, and in that corner it'll push up. So it'll be like this weird woo and back up type of thing. Humidifier time. We'll grab the humidifier. So these right here are 15-litre humidifiers, and I think Spider Farmer actually have slightly larger ones, but these are Mars Hydro humidifiers. As you can see, they've got Mars Hydro written on them. And basically this is the tank and the bottom part, which is on wheels, which is actually very useful because you can move it. That's the part that does all the condensing and all of the stuff that you need to actually create the mist, which obviously creates the humidity. It's all controlled on LCD panel. Humidifiers, I don't know if you've seen another video on these or not, but they're not very complex things. So this one's quite expensive because it is 15 litres, which is pretty damn big for a humidifier, actually. And I suppose the main thing with these are they need to sense the humidity that they've actually put out within the room so that they know whether to turn on or not. They don't have to be this expensive to do that. But I wanted a really large one so that I didn't have to change the water all the time, was the idea. And this is the sensor, which will sense the humidity. So this is the hygrometer, if I can open the bag. And that will connect to the device with that, and then it will sense the humidity with that. This actually doesn't need to connect to the brain because, like I say, it can control it itself. It understands what's going on. So that's a plus. Just needs to be plugged into the wall and it will go. Obviously, one of the most important things as well, it's going to sound way over the top, but you don't want to use tap water because if it does condense and go down onto the plants, I don't want to be giving them tap water. I want to be giving them RO water or distilled water. Most likely RO water. Distilled water is a bit too far. It depends which one's cheaper, I suppose. But number one, you don't want to be giving them rainwater because obviously that's got a bunch of contaminants in it. And you don't want to be giving them tap water because tap water's got a bunch of chlorine and contaminants in it. So all the water in this tent for acclimation needs to be clean water. For growing, it's perfectly fine to have rainwater and da-da-da. For professional setups, that rainwater needs to be filtered of any pests and things. So it's not as simple as collecting rainwater and using it, but you can at least have a little bit more leeway there. You don't have to be quite as strict because you're not going to kill the plants using rainwater. Rainwater is very natural for them to use. Just normally it's not come off a roof, and that's the way that most people collect their rainwater. It comes off the roof, so any contaminants on the roof, whether it be moss or the microorganisms or bird droppings, it all goes down into your filter, into your water butt, and then you're putting that on your plants. So you can't do that in a professional setup. But you can do it if you're just growing plants at home, and I would definitely encourage you to do that if you're growing plants at home. I think the lid actually stays on. I don't think it's meant to come off, but there are things inside there. So that's not ideal. Yeah, because that's just a chamber. And then down the middle is where the humidity comes from. This is some sort of a nozzle. I don't know if I did this or if it came like this. I think it came like this. Well, we'll see, because the other humidifier for the other room will have done the same. There's no way I put that in there. Goodness me. Okay, so these are longer humidity arms. There's nothing else in there, right? No, that is it. Clean the water tank filter every 7 days to avoid water shortage alarms due to filter clogs. I would hope it's not every 7 days, but we have to clean everything anyway every 7 days, so it's not really a big deal. Right, so you can have it outside. That's actually useful. Right, we're gonna do that. So you can have it outside the tent, coming inside. This is exactly what our tent looks like as well. So that's very, very useful. Let's look at this. So hopefully it's not focusing on me and it's focusing on that. Hello. There we go. All right, so our tent looks exactly like this. And because we want as much space as possible, we're going to put this sucker outside the tent and use the connections to come inside the tent. You'll have to mind the attire. Today I thought I'd show you me building the other tent. This is going to be the grow tent, and you can see my hair actually looks way more acceptable now. I had an emergency appointment and they sorted it out. Different place, obviously. So this will probably be a time lapse. So enjoy. Hopefully the camera catches it well, and I'll see you at the end of it. It's a lot of effort to do this. Oh, and that is now a fully put together grow tent. There is a drip tray that goes in the bottom, which is just another layer that I don't actually know how that's going to work in here because there's a pole in the middle. This one seems a lot sturdier than the other one because of the middle sections, which is interesting. The other one's a little bit more floppy, but the whole thing's really freaking heavy, really heavy when you're trying to get it over. I don't recommend doing it on your own, to be honest with you, but obviously I don't have a choice. Make sure all the vents are down and everything's fine, because everything's obviously scrunched up a bit. This one basically fills this room as well. There's a little bit of space out the front, but this one will not be anywhere near the humidity that the other one plans to be at, which means that this can have a carbon system that filters into the room. And it also means that we can have, well, like in the other room, we can have ourselves a dehumidifier on the outside, wherever the carbon filter vent goes, so that that humid air kind of goes straight into the carbon filter, goes straight into the dehumidifier and doesn't damage the room. Because obviously even the slightest bit of, oh, I think that's supposed to go around there maybe? No, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, even the slightest bit of humidity can start to damage rooms if it's over the level that you want. So yeah, that is the build. You've seen the lights and things go up in the other one. This one, I don't know, I'm assuming a light will fit there. And actually I think another light would have fit here. So kind of screwed that one quite nicely, not having two lights, but is what it is. It's not a major deal in here, to be honest. This is very much plants come in, plants go out. The acclimation room's the one that needs the full-on lighting everywhere. I mean, even with two, I don't think it would fit. So I don't think it would, I don't think the radius of the light rays would actually be very large, but it definitely looks like two would fit here. So that's my terrible math, because obviously it's 240 by 240, and I was thinking, well, that doesn't make sense, but actually two 150s clearly would fit into 240. In fact, I think maybe four 150s could have. But I guess you learn the hard way. Plus it saved us a little bit of money, right? We got a bit of a refund on the light. And then we'll just, I guess, add supplemental lighting where needed. But yeah, that's it for this. That's this tent. One thing that you do really need to be careful of, obviously the tent is seriously heavy duty, which is why I can do it myself and just be a bit more, aggressive with it. One thing that you do need to be careful of is not letting anything get caught in the zips when you're zipping it up, because if you get material caught in the zip, that's when things don't zip up properly, for one, and you can potentially break the material doing that, because that's a little bit more, you've got teeth digging into the material then. Whereas when I'm just being aggressive with it, I'm just pulling it over smooth bars. So unless it was really pathetic material, it won't rip doing that because it's just on a smooth surface. But as soon as you get something at least a bit spiky, it ups the danger factor for the material that the tent is made out of. Right, well, anyway, I think this might be the end of a video. I'm not sure. It's kind of a mashup of putting things in the other tent and putting things in this tent. So thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions or want to know anything, then drop us a comment. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, there's a whole lot more to come. There's still the tissue culture lab to look at and things like that. So lots going on. We've got TikTok, Instagram, and obviously YouTube being the main platform for long form videos.